to basically be saying to partner, and by the way, you don't need trumps to do that, right? So the person who's doubling may have a card in spades here. They may have a defensive trick, a trump trick against 4 spades, but they don't have to. It could just be that this is your hand, and maybe partner feels like, well, I mean, I can construct a lot of 12, 13, 14-point hands, and they might even be generally balanced hands that your partner would hold, where they're thinking, okay, maybe we make something at the 5 level, maybe we make 5 clubs, or maybe we even have a heart fit that we're gonna have a hard time getting to with the interference. Maybe we have 11 tricks in whatever we're going to bid. But if you're not very confident that you have a place you can play where you're gonna take 11 tricks, the better choice is usually just to collect whatever you can penalty, whether it's 100 or 200 or 300 or 800, just defend and hope for the best, and hope that you can collect a score that is better than any game that you would have had, right? Because the last thing you want to do is turn a plus score into a minus score by pulling this penalty double and then not making your contract, right? Was there another question?
You answered it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, and look, these are not trivial decisions. That's why people make big preempts like this, especially when the vulnerability is in their favor. When my opponents open one of a minor, if the vulnerability is favorable and I've got some length in a major, I want to be in there with a whole bunch of hearts or spades as often as possible to make things really difficult. So I'll look for any excuse to preempt 4 hearts or 4 spades in those kinds of situations.
Do you normally have 8 of them, or can you do?
At favorable vulnerability, I would do it with 7. Yeah, that would be an adjustment you can make, considering the vulnerability. So, but the idea is that as long as you and your partner both know at what point this double stops being intended for takeout and it is now, intended for penalty. So.
Should we change our card to be 4 cards?
No, we can keep infinity. We can keep infinity on there.
I think you should add ENP.
Yes.
Or plus.
No, I'm fine with this. And then if anybody picks up the card and looks at it and says, well, this says infinity. What does that mean? That means all your doubles are takeout. And really, it's just more of a situation. And you could say, and your response to that would be, they're all intended as takeout. The higher the interference, the better a partner's hand is. And it really just creates do something intelligent partner, right? It's, it becomes, the double maybe starts to swing from, rather than swinging on the pendulum from negative to penalty, it's swinging on the pendulum from negative to do something intelligent partner, which may be leaving it in, which opener would typically want to do with most minimum openings, right?
Kurt, you keep referring to this as a takeout double, but in fact it's a negative double, isn't it?
It's a negative double is a form of takeout double.
Oh.
Takeout double, and any double that is for the most part that is not specifically a penalty double is some form of takeout double. Again, we're going back to the literal definition of a takeout double. Is in that it's intended, you intend for partner to remove this double, to take it out. So yeah, so we've got, last week was just kind of the basic takeout double with nothing else to it. And then these other doubles, these negative doubles, responsive doubles, these maximal doubles, these are all intended to be taken out. So they're just different type. They're really just different types of takeout.
Are negative doubles always done in this situation? I mean, you don't do a negative double later in the auction.
No, always by responder. If it comes up later in the auction, and so that would suggest that the negative double is going to happen on the first round of bidding. If we have moved into the second and third rounds of bidding, your double may be takeout oriented, but it is not specifically a negative double. It could be a balancing double. It could be a do something intelligent partner double. It could be as one of my mentors like to joke, especially comparing it to takeout. It could be a takeout or eat it here double. Partner, you just made a double in a really bad situation and put us on the rack. So. there's a story behind that, but I'll save that for another time. So ultimately, we want to know kind of the upper level. We want to know where's that break point where the doubles are less takeout oriented and more penalty oriented. And yeah, I think because you don't want to lose the ability to play four spades. If you have a 4-4 spade fit, that's why I like it through. If we're going to set a point, why I think four hearts works pretty well. But once the interference comes to four spades, now if we're pulling the double, we've got a bid at the 5 level at this stage, right? And so that's why I think it's kind of an easy transition point, and I think that's probably going to work best for most partnerships. So. And you may not have the perfect shape, right? I mean, what if we have, what if they get in with the big preamps in diamonds, right? Let's say we have a club opening and the interference is 4 diamonds. And you're doubling open. All right, well, are you definitely 4-4 in the majors on that auction, that top auction there? I mean, you'd like to be, because partner may bid 4 hearts or 4 spades next, and you'd love to have 4 card support. But what if you've got a full opening hand and you only have 4 spades and 3 hearts? You got to say something, right? I mean, sometimes your hand's too good to pass. Clearly, in this situation, 3-no's not an option because the preempt is, even if we wanted to bid 3-no, we couldn't. So, you're not going to have the perfect hand. You might find yourself having to make a negative double, and if partner bids a 4-card major that you only have 3 of, we may have to try a 4-3 fit. But you just have to adapt when they come in with these big preamps like this. So that's the best you can do. And look, and maybe partner won't have a good fit for you, and we'll decide to leave it. And then maybe we get to defend 4 diamonds doubled and beat it a trick or two on a hand where we actually can't make a game. So good things can come out of this. Sometimes those doubles intended as negative get left in. And think about it, if your partner doesn't have a 4-card major, doesn't have a good place to go, you probably are better off defending, right? Because the better fit you have, the less inclined you would be to defend, right?
I see.
If you had an 8-card fit in a major here, you would want to play it. Because that 8-card major, even if you have ace, king, and queen, you're not cashing more than 1 or 2 of those cards, right? I mean, we figure the preemptor's got a singleton somewhere, right? And it is quite likely to be in our, in a suit where we have some length or where we have an 8-card or better fit. So yeah, so that first table is, again, it's a guideline that those are not hard and fast numbers, but we like to look at this as what is our negative double showing when the interference is at these different escalating levels, right? So if the opponents have overcalled at the 1 level, yeah, even if we had a hand that would have been a dead minimum response, we still might make a negative double. Partner may have to bid at the 2 level, but yeah, decent 6 count, like the hand we looked at before. A couple of kings, you still might get in there just because it's now or never type of situation. If the overcall or jump overcall, because it could be either, it could be a preemptive bid or it could be a constructive bid, but if they come in at the 2 level, usually we'd like our negative double to have at least 8 points. Once they get in with like a 3-level preempt, maybe a good 10 or 11, and then remember these all finish with plus because your negative double is unlimited. Keep that in mind. There may be a lower limit expectation of what you should have, but there's no upper limit. And you could have every high card point in the deck that aren't in the other hands that have already bid here, right? Once that interference comes in at the 3 level, you're not completely forced to game. There are some auctions where you could stop at the 3 level, but you are effectively forced to game most of the time, right? Especially if they come in with 3 hearts or 3 spades, not a minor suit preempt, but yeah. I mean, look, if they come in with a 3 spade bid, you're pretty much forcing this thing to game, right? You make a negative double of a 3 spade preempt on your right. Partner's gonna have to bid 4 hearts or 3 no maybe if they have a stopper, or they might have to bid 4 their minor, which you could then conceivably pass if you have stretched this. But it's okay, again, adjustments that we have to make. When there is a big preempt, I effectively follow the strategy that most invitational hands become game forcing hands, because they've just put you under too much pressure with the preempt. You can't always thread the needle and stop exactly at 3 hearts or 3 spades or something like that. So certainly at the 4 level, you have a hand that would have always forced the game had there been no interference, and might even be a little slamish. Maybe very lightly slamish, or it could be highly slamish. Because remember, those preemptive bids are promising, very little, especially if they're done non-vulnerable, right? So again, that's just kind of a guideline. And you should feel some willingness, like I said, to play with these, to tweak these a little bit depending on the vulnerability. Maybe depending on your opponents. Any questions about that? Okay, so we've been talking about strength requirements for the negative double. Let's get into some shape requirements. Now that we know what is expected in terms of points, what do we expect as far as suits go? Okay. Like everything else with our game, the emphasis is very strongly on the majors. If there is one unbid major, your negative double promises at least 4 cards in the other major. That's O capital M there. And this is going to get back to a question that Joanne asked on previous example. So this auction right here. Partner opens a diamond, they overcall a spade. You make a negative double. The one thing that should be taken to the bank on this auction is that responder has 4 hearts. Responder could have a 5th heart. Keep that in mind. Responder could have a 5th heart, and the hand is not good enough to freely bid 2 hearts. So you may be stuck with negative double. As much as you want to show partner a 5-card suit, so that partner could know you can play there with only 3-card support, if you're bidding a free 2 hearts here, you're showing 10 or more points. So we don't want you making a free bid of 2 hearts if you don't have a good enough hand for it. So that's why we say it's at least 4 hearts and could be 5. Now, I think the question that Joanne was getting at is, what about the other unbid suit? What about clubs? Most of the time, as it works out, you have hearts and clubs. But you don't absolutely guarantee clubs. You don't have to have lengthened clubs to do this.
So it's really a takeout of the other major.
The emphasis is on the unbid major, yes. When the overcall has happened, okay? And it can be a different looking overcall, right? Let's say partner opens a club and we get a weak jump overcall of 2 hearts. Okay, double is negative. Now this interference is coming at the 2 levels, so we expect a little better hand, right? Based on that chart over there, we expect usually a decent 8 points or more. And responder, you have at least 4 spades. You might have 5 spades, but the hand's not good enough to freely bid 2 spades. So you would start with negative double, and hopefully partner can support spades. And then if we ask the question, well, what about diamonds? Because that's another unbid suit. You don't absolutely have to have diamonds. You might have spades and diamonds, but the emphasis is on that unbid major. And remember, in this situation, partner opened a club, right? So they're unlikely to have diamond length. If they're choosing a minor suit opening, then they probably, if they don't have a spade fit with you, then they probably have longer clubs. Or maybe they have a heart stopper and they can bid no trump. So that's a possibility too. And if you don't have the other unbid suit, that's usually a situation that you would be able to get out of. Like with this first auction here. Get rid of this since it's on your hand now. Well, yeah, let's go back to this first auction here where a partner opens a diamond and they overcall a spade. So, let's say your hand looks like that. 9 points. You're shaping the red suits 4-5. So partner opened a diamond. Could you raise diamonds right away? Sure, you could. You've got a guaranteed 8-card or better diamond fit, and maybe you will end up playing in diamonds. But you don't want to lose the hearts, because we still would like to play in hearts if partner has 4 of them, right? Well, this is a have your cake and eat it too situation, right? Because you can start with a negative double with this hand. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, if I make a negative double, what if partner bids clubs thinking I have both unbid suits and I have 2 baby clubs and that's not going to work for me? You have a way out of that, right? Can't you, if partner bids 2 clubs, can't you correct back to 2 diamonds? And partner will get the picture, right? You go back, you take that diamond preference that you could take anytime partner doesn't support hearts. So that's why, that's an example of why the negative double is often safe, even if you don't have both unbid suits. That's why we can say the emphasis is on that unbid major. Our goal here is to get to a heart contract. Plan B is a diamond contract. And then if you don't actually have diamond support, I mean, you don't have to be able to tolerate partner suit, because we can change this around and you would have the same negative double, right? In fact, we'll change the shape of it a little bit. Still give you 9 high card points. This may be more of a true negative double, right? Because you actually are 4-4 in the unbid suits. Hopefully, whatever partner does next, you're happy with. If partner bids hearts, you have a fit there, you're happy. If partner bids clubs, even after having opened a diamond, but partner could have both minors. Partner could be 4-4 or 5-4 or something like that, right? Well, partner could try the clubs next, and that would be their natural rebid anyhow, perhaps. If they were like 5 diamonds and 4 clubs, maybe they were always planning on opening a diamond and rebidding their clubs. The partner doesn't bid hearts, the next best option for you is clubs, right? Okay, well, we don't have a 4-4 heart fit, we might have a 4-4 club fit. And if partner does neither, what if partner bids diamonds again, right? Well, if partner rebids 2 diamonds, and occasionally might be stuck doing that with a 5-card suit. And for those of you, because I know many of you always ask me about this business of rebidding 5-card suits, and you've heard me say we don't do it. We don't freely rebid 5-card suits. However,